Hunting is a solitary pursuit. It demands patience, skill, and a deep respect for nature. The hunter becomes one with the wilderness, immersing himself in the quiet grandeur of the forest. This is the setting for our story, a tale of a hunter's encounter with the unknown. Jack, a seasoned hunter, ventured into the vast wilderness of Montana. He had spent countless hours in these woods, honing his skills and learning the secrets of the land. He carried with him a rifle, a trusted companion that had seen many hunts and adventures. Alongside his rifle, he had a backpack filled with supplies, meticulously packed to ensure he was prepared for any situation. Jack also carried with him a deep respect for the unpredictable nature of the wilderness, understanding that the forest was both a provider and a challenger. As Jack delved deeper into the forest, the familiar comfort of the wilderness began to morph into something unsettling. The trees seemed to close in around him, and the air grew thick with an unspoken tension. The usual symphony of nature, the rustling leaves, the chirping birds, and the distant calls of wildlife seemed to fade, replaced by an unnerving silence that pressed in on him from all sides. He felt a prickle of unease on the back of his neck, a feeling of being watched. It was as if the forest itself had eyes observing his every move. He pushed these thoughts aside, attributing them to the solitude and the vastness of the wilderness. Jack knew that the mind could play tricks when one was alone for too long. He continued his trek, his senses heightened, alert to any sign of game or danger. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of leaves made him pause and listen intently. The forest grew denser, the trees looming over him like silent sentinels, their branches intertwining to form a canopy that blocked out the sky. The sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows that danced and flickered in the fading light, adding to the sense of foreboding. He couldn't shake the sense that he was not alone, that something was watching him from the shadows. The feeling gnawed at him, a constant reminder of the mysteries that lay hidden in the heart of the wilderness. The deeper Jack ventured, the more pronounced the silence became. He began to hear strange noises, faint whispers carried on the wind. At first he dismissed them as the rustling of leaves or the creaking of branches, but the whispers persisted, growing louder and more distinct. They seemed to be calling his name, beckoning him deeper into the forest. A shiver ran down his spine and a knot of fear tightened in his stomach. He knew he should turn back, but something compelled him to continue. As darkness descended, the forest transformed into a menacing entity. Jack set up camp, his heart pounding in his chest. He built a small fire, hoping the flames would offer some comfort and protection. He heard footsteps circling his camp, slow and deliberate. Jack gripped his rifle tighter, his eyes scanning the darkness beyond the firelight. The footsteps stopped, and the silence descended once more, heavy and suffocating. He knew that whatever was out there was watching him, waiting for the right moment to strike. The fire began to die down, the flames dwindling to embers. Suddenly he heard a voice. It was a whisper, close to his ear, as if someone was standing right behind him. The voice spoke his name, a chilling whisper that sent shivers down his spine. "Jack," it whispered, "leave." Jack spun around, his rifle raised, his heart pounding in his chest. He saw nothing. He knew he had to leave to escape the oppressive presence that surrounded him. Jack ran. He didn't stop to think, didn't look back. He pushed through the undergrowth, his heart pounding in his chest. The whispers followed him, mocking his fear, urging him on. He stumbled and fell, his hands scraping against the rough ground. He scrambled to his feet, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He ran blindly, driven by a primal instinct to survive. He ran until he could run no more, collapsing on the forest floor, waiting for the inevitable. When dawn finally broke, Jack found himself on the edge of the forest, stumbling out into the blinding light. He was disoriented, exhausted, and covered in scratches and bruises. He looked back at the dark wall of trees, a shiver running down his spine. He couldn't remember how he had gotten there, the details of his escape lost in the haze of terror. He only knew that he had survived. He told his story to anyone who would listen, but his words were met with skepticism and disbelief. The forest had claimed a part of him, leaving him with a deep-seated fear of the wilderness. Jack's experience highlights the profound psychological impact of isolation. When one is cut off from human contact and thrust into the heart of nature, the mind can undergo significant changes. The solitude and the vast, unending wilderness can create a sense of insignificance and vulnerability. When separated from human contact and exposed to the vastness and unpredictability of the wilderness, the human mind can become vulnerable to a range of psychological phenomena. The isolation can lead to a heightened state of awareness, where every rustle of leaves or snap of a twig is magnified, creating a constant state of alertness. Sensory deprivation, sleep deprivation, and the constant state of hypervigilance can lead to hallucinations, paranoia, and a distorted sense of reality. The lack of familiar sounds and sights can cause the brain to fill in the gaps, often with frightening or unsettling images and sounds. In Jack's case, the prolonged solitude and the unnerving silence of the forest may have contributed to his terrifying experience. The absence of human interaction can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and fear, making the mind more susceptible to irrational thoughts and fears. The human mind is a complex and fragile instrument, easily influenced by external factors. In the wilderness, where the environment is unpredictable and often harsh, the mind can struggle to maintain a sense of normalcy. In extreme environments such as the wilderness, the line between reality and illusion can become blurred. The isolation can lead to a heightened state of suggestibility, where the mind is more likely to believe in the supernatural or the unexplainable. The mind can play tricks, creating phantom sounds and images, amplifying fears and anxieties. The darkness and the unknown can cause the brain to imagine threats that aren't there, leading to a state of constant fear and anxiety. This can lead to a state of heightened suggestibility, where the individual becomes more susceptible to believing in the supernatural or the unexplainable. The mind, in its attempt to make sense of the unfamiliar environment, can create scenarios that are far from reality. The isolation and the oppressive silence of the forest may have amplified his senses, creating a heightened state of awareness that led to misinterpretations of natural phenomena. The mind, in its solitude, can become its own worst enemy, turning the peacefulness of nature into a source of fear and anxiety. The wilderness is a realm of mystery and wonder, a place where the unexplained still holds sway. It is a vast expanse where nature reigns supreme, and the unknown lurks behind every tree and under every rock. For centuries, humans have ventured into these untamed lands, seeking adventure, solace, and sometimes answers to the mysteries that lie within. Throughout history, there have been countless reports of strange encounters and unexplained phenomena in the wild. From Bigfoot sightings to UFO encounters, the wilderness has served as a backdrop for many stories that defy rational explanation. These tales are not just modern fabrications, they have been part of human folklore for generations. The vast, untouched wilderness provides the perfect setting for these enigmatic events. The dense forests, towering mountains, and deep valleys create an environment where the line between reality and imagination can easily blur. These stories, often passed down through generations, add to the mystique and allure of the wild. Around campfires, elders share tales of their own encounters or those of their ancestors, keeping the legends alive. The beauty and majesty of the forest only enhance these stories, making them more vivid and compelling. The rustling leaves, the calls of nocturnal animals, and the play of light and shadow all contribute to the sense of wonder and mystery. These tales remind us that there are still things in this world that we do not fully understand. They challenge our perceptions and invite us to explore the unknown with an open mind. Some attribute these phenomena to misinterpretations of natural events. The play of light through the trees, the sounds of animals moving through the underbrush, and the shifting shadows can all create illusions that the mind struggles to interpret. The human mind, in its attempt to make sense of the unknown, can often create explanations for things that are beyond our comprehension. Our brains are wired to find patterns and make connections, even when there may be none. A fleeting glimpse of a shadow in the woods can be transformed into a Bigfoot sighting, a strange sound in the night into a ghostly encounter. Our imagination fills in the gaps, creating stories that are both thrilling and terrifying. A fleeting glimpse of a shadow in the woods can be transformed into a Bigfoot sighting, a strange sound in the night into a ghostly encounter. These stories, while often dismissed by skeptics, continue to captivate and intrigue us. They remind us of the power of the unknown and the allure of the unexplained. A strange sound in the night can be interpreted as a ghostly encounter, adding to the rich tapestry of wilderness lore. The eerie sounds of the forest at night, the rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of animals all contribute to the sense of mystery. Our perception of reality is shaped by our beliefs and expectations, and in the wilderness, where the line between the real and the imagined can become blurred, these misinterpretations can take on a life of their own. The wilderness, with its vastness and mystery, invites us to question what we know and to embrace the unknown. In the end, the wilderness remains a place of wonder and mystery, a realm where the unexplained continues to captivate our imagination. It is a reminder that there is still much in this world that we do not understand, and perhaps that is what makes it so enchanting. These misinterpretations can take on a life of their own, becoming part of the rich tapestry of wilderness lore that continues to captivate and intrigue us. Jack's story leaves us with a lingering question. What truly happened in the Montana wilderness? Was it a psychological breakdown brought on by isolation and the pressures of survival? Or was it something more, something that defies rational explanation? The ambiguity of Jack's experience is precisely what makes it so compelling. It forces us to confront the limits of our own understanding, to acknowledge that there are things in this world that we may never fully comprehend. The wilderness remains a realm of mystery, a place where the unexplained still holds sway. Perhaps the true horror of Jack's experience lies not in what he encountered, but in the profound psychological impact it had on him. The lingering question of what Jack encountered serves as a reminder of the enduring power of the unknown.